Hi! Welcome to Doc Martin's YouTube channel. We spent the last 2 episodes talking about conscious breathing. The key takeaways from those 2 episodes is that one conscious breath after another is a meditation, and that conscious breathing can have an overall impact on your mental health and well-being. If you missed those episodes, click here. This week, I wanted to share with you another breathing technique developed by Dr. Eric Goodman, who is a sports physiologist and a chiropractor from the United States. His technique is called decompression breathing. In fact, Dr. Goodman is credited with relieving the mighty Thor of the Avengers from chronic back pain. Yes, even superheroes and Chris Hemsworth suffer from back pain. If you want to learn more about Dr. Goodman's technique, you can purchase his book entitled True to Form. So, let's get cracking! Dr. Goodman says that modern conveniences like our car, our cell phones, our computer, and our workstations have allowed us to adapt complacently to what we do on a daily basis, and that is sitting. Sitting deconditions our muscles, our movements over time, and gives rise to lower back pain, hip pain, knee pain, foot pain, and even ankle pain. He encourages us to adapt to our environment rather than passively changing over time. Active adaptations fix the way we stand and move, thereby connecting chronic patterns of misuse that cause pain and dysfunction. This can help us live a life relatively free of chronic pain, with some minor bumps and bruises along the way. His first adaptation would be decompression breathing. By this, we are not decompressing the spine per se, but the rib cage. There are 3 elements of decompression breathing. The first one is called abdominal breathing. So, most people breathe from their upper chest. What you want to do is breathe from your abdomen, and this is accomplished by a large dome-shaped muscle that covers the whole underside of our ribs, kind of like a parachute. So as the parachute moves up and down, air rushes in and out of the lungs. The second part of decompression breathing is accomplished by a large muscle on the front of the neck called the sternocleidomastoideus, which is this muscle here that attaches from here to the sternum and the clavicle. And what this does, it lifts the skull up. The third part of decompression breathing is moving the ribs up and out, thereby filling your lungs with air. The second adaptation is called hip hinging. Simply put, this is about moving your hips back and keeping your front long instead of short. And this helps load the posterior muscles or the back muscles, the buttocks, the hamstrings, and the calves, which are meant to absorb shock and gravity properly. Let me quickly demonstrate what those exercises would look like. Step 1, lengthen the space in between your sternum and your shoulders by rolling your shoulder back 3 or 4 times, okay? So you're thinking about expanding the space in between here. Don't roll your shoulders forward, because every day we're doing this with our cell phones, driving, pushing this. You want to move away from that. So 2 or 3 deep breaths as you move your shoulders, rotating it back, increasing the space between your sternum and your shoulder. Okay, now, step 2 is you find the bottom of your rib cage, and I guarantee you it's somewhere in there. Put your thumb here, and your pinky goes on top of your hip, just like this. So when you're slouching and compressing, this space is small. What you want to do is to lengthen the space in between your fingers with each deep breath. And with each breath you take, you maintain the length that you gained from the last breath. So it would look something like this. Okay. Now, remember there are three elements of this. Increasing the length here, tucking your chin in, which lifts your skull up. Next is moving your ribs up and out. Okay, so next step is keeping this front of your body long. You bend your knees slightly and move your hip back. Just like this. Now, you're going to feel the back of your spine, your buttocks, your hamstrings, your calves all working. This is called your posterior chain, which activates everything that holds you back. So you take 2 or 3 breaths here. Next is you drop your arms, rotate them out as far as they can, and extend them back. And this will make your posterior chain work even harder, including the posterior chain of your upper back. And you take another 2-3 breaths here. Now, last is you lift your hands up, keeping your chest low, like you're holding a ball in front of you, leaning back on your heels. Your hips are back, again activating the posterior chain of your spine. And you take another 2 or 3 breaths here. And then you gently bring yourself up again. Remember that it is completely normal for it to feel awkward at first. But once you get used to it and start engaging your day, your sport, and your activities differently, you will feel a shift in your movement and posture. A shift which will bring you further and further away from chronic back and body pains. Remember, this is Doc Martin saying, every day, in every way, you are getting better and better.